بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. We are, alhamdulillah, given tawfiq to continue our discussion about Hadith of Unwan al-Basri. For those who were not present last night, I quickly mentioned what was said before. Allama al-Majlisi, rahmatullah alayhi, in Bihar al-Anwar, mentions a hadith that he says, I found in Kashkul of Sheikh Bahari in his own handwriting, so the copy that he had himself written, from Shahid Awal and from Sheikh Ahmed al-Farahani, from or about Unwan al-Basri. He was an old person who was 94 years old. So it's never late for learning. He says, I used to go to Malik ibn Anas, who is very well-known figure, an imam of the Maliki brothers. He says, I used to go to him for many years, and then when Imam Sadiq alayhi salam came to Medina, which I don't know what does he mean by he came to Medina, because Imam used to be in Medina, but maybe, for example, after a trip, or maybe he means during a visit of Imam of their Medina, their city. So he says, I liked to go and ask also Imam to teach me, as I have been taking lessons from Malik. I wanted to take also lessons from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. But he says, when I went to Imam said, I am very busy and I have my own du'as and zikrs and awrad that I have to do. In every hour of day and night I have things to do. لي أوراد في كل ساعة من آناء الليل والنهار. So Imam said, carry on with your teacher. And then he says, I became very sad, and I told myself that if he had found in me something good, he would not have, rejected me to go and learn from him. So he went to the masjid of the Prophet and said salam, then went home. Next day went and said 2 rakah salat and asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make the heart of Imam, soft with him and accept him. And then he went to home and he said, I was very sad and I was not coming out except for Salatul Wajib. Shows how a man of 94 years old was determined to learn. And then when I was really, sad, I put on my shoes and put on my cloak and went to the house of Imam after Salatul Asr, and I went to the door. I knocked the door. A servant of Imam came, said, what do you want? I said, I want to say salam to Imam. He said, Imam is praying. So I sat near the door, and then soon a servant came and said, Udkhul ala barakatillah. So he said, I went and said salam to Imam. Imam replied, and Imam told me, Ijlis ghafarallahu lak. Sit. This was very important, we discussed last night. May Allah forgive you. And then Imam kept silent for a while and then raised his head and said, Abu Man. What's your kunya? He said, I told Abu Abdullah. Then Imam said, Thabbatallahu kunyataka wa waffaqaka ya Abu Abdullah. May this kunya of, being father of servant of God be established in you. What do you want? And he says, I told myself, he didn't reply, but he said in my heart, I told, if I was just able to see him and say salam and he has this dua for me, this is enough. But then Imam asked, what do you want? And he said, I ask Allah to make your heart, tender and give me from your knowledge. And then Imam alayhi salam said, Ya Aba Abdullah, laysa al-ilmu bit-ta'allum. He said, I ask Allah to give me from your knowledge. Imam says, knowledge is not a matter of learning. It means it's not guaranteed that by conventional methods of learning you become real alim. You have to go to school, you have to take lessons, you have to study. But this doesn't guarantee that you become alim. We have hadith from Amir al-Mu'minin, رُبَّ عَالِمٍ قَتَلَهُ جَهْلُهُ. There are many knowledgeable people that they are destroyed because of ignorance. وَعِلْمُهُ مَعَهُ لَا يَنْفَعُهُ. He has knowledge, but this knowledge is not helping. So Imam said, لَيْسَ الْعِلْمُ بِالتَّعَلُّمِ إِنَّمَا هُوَ نُورٌ يَقَعُ فِي قَلْبِ مَنْ يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى أَنْ يَهْدِيَهُ. Knowledge is the light that occurs in the heart of someone that Allah wants to guide. فَإِنْ أَرَدْتَ الْعِلْمِ. If you want knowledge, don't look for teacher only, or don't look for book only. If you want knowledge, prepare your heart. It's very important. Normally, for our problems and for our needs, we look for external means. Yeah? But we have to start from here. So Imam said, فَاطْلُبْ أَوَّلًا فِي نَفْسِكَ حَقِيقَةَ الْعُبُودِيَّةِ. First, seek in yourself, your soul, real servitude. And last night we talked about this. What's the relation between servitude, being abd, and knowledge? And you remember we had this discussion. The second thing, وَاطْلُبِ الْعِلْمِ بِاسْتِعْمَالِهِ. In addition to being servant of Allah, it's also very important that you put into practice what you know. If you want to get knowledge, you have to first show your gratitude to the knowledge that you are already given. If knowledge is acted upon, it helps your soul for receiving more knowledge. Yeah? But if you don't practice and then you want to learn more, it wouldn't come. Maybe concepts come. We are not talking about that type of knowledge. We are not talking about information. We are talking about light. So, وَاطْلُبِ الْعِلْمِ بِاسْتِعْمَالِهِ. Seek knowledge with using knowledge. As you know, we have many hadiths about this, and when we were talking about Munyatul Murid, we had some of these hadiths. For example, we have hadith which says, Al-ilmu yahtafu bil-amal. Knowledge calls for practice. فَإِنْ أَجَابَهُ وَإِلَّا ارْتَحَلَ. If practice comes, knowledge would remain and become stronger. If practice doesn't come, knowledge would go away. Only the burden of the concepts remain, but it's not real knowledge. So we have to try to put into practice, even if we learn one little thing. We have to try to practice. Unfortunately, sometimes we have not practiced, or most of the time we have not practiced what we know, and we are asking for something more. It's not going to work and it's not going to help. It can actually sometimes become too much. It's very important to practice. وَاسْتَفْهِمِ اللَّهِ يُفْهِمْكَ. Ask Allah for understanding, and Allah will make you understand. So last night I asked brothers and sisters who were here to think about these three things. The first one we alhamdulillah discussed, and I made the conclusion about relation between ubudiyah and knowledge, and what type of knowledge is this. The second sentence, اطلب العلم باستعماله. And the third, استفهم الله يفهمك. Because time is short and we want to inshallah finish this. So I don't stop now, but in question and answer we can inshallah discuss it more if you have ideas. One of the things that we find here is a good learner is the one who gains fahm, understanding. Because just having information without being able to process it and then use it is not beneficial. Fahm is a kind of deep understanding. Fahm is when your knowledge is actually at your use and your control. You know, imagine I have lots of, for example, information about theories and ideas, but I don't understand what I should say today. What should I say tonight? You know, I have lots of information, but then, for example, I start talking about something that is not useful, it's not relevant. Fahm is being totally understanding the information that you have and its applications and how it should be, you know, presented, how it should be implemented, what use you can make out of it. So it's more than just superficial, you know, awareness or acquaintance with some subject. It's very important always to aim at fahm, at understanding. Ayatollah Mutahari, in one of his books, which is about Islamic education, he mentions very interesting example. He says, there was a person whose father used to work for the king and give him, help with hidden things, you know, for example, like if something was missing or if they wanted to foresee future, you know, doing this type of things. So he had some kind of awareness of we call ulum gharibe, some disciplines which are not very common and some people know. So when the father died, the king wanted to see if his son can replace his father. So he took an object in his hand and said to him, tell me what is in my hand. If it was your father, he could tell me what is in my hand. Okay? So he asked two questions based on the things that he had learned from his father. He made two good questions. One, he said, is it circular? King said, yes. He said, is it hollow inside that circle? He said, yes. So this much was what he had learned from his father. Two good, quick questions. And then it was his turn to make a kind of guess. So he said, is it the stone for the corn mill? There's a stone that horses or people used to move to make flour, because it is also circle and inside is the hole. Yes. So the king laughed. Your first two guessing were okay, but you have to use your aql. How that can be in my hand? And it was actually a ring. He had a ring in his hand. So sometimes we do the same mistake. For example, if you want to analyze what's the problem in community, sometimes we notice good details, but when we want to make a general, kind of judgment or kind of examination of the problem and come up with a solution, we come up with very funny things. So fahm is very important. Understanding. وَاسْتَفْهِمِ اللَّهِ يُفْهِمْكَ. Then he says, قُلْتُ يَا Sharif. He says to Imam, O Sharif. Sharif means someone who is honorable. Imam said, فَقَالَ قُلْ يَا أَبَا عَبْدِ. Don't call me Sharif, just say Abu Abdullah. قلت يا أبا عبد الله ما حقيقة العبودية. What is the reality of عبودية? You told me اطلب العلم في نفسك بالعبودية. What is عبودية? Very good question. How can I achieve servitude? How can I become a servant of Allah? Imam alayhi salam said, ثلاثة أشياء. And these are the things that we have to understand and implement. First, Allah yara al-abdu li-nafsihi fima khabbalahu Allah milkan. The first thing is, you should not think that you are the owner of what Allah has given you. If you have a servant and you give money to your servant to do something or buy something, he shouldn't think it's his own money. Whatever Allah has given us, it's not our property. Yeah? So, لا يرى العبد لنفسه فيما خذله الله ملكا. لأن العبيد لا يكون لهم ملك. Servants don't have any property. Yeah, they themselves are owned by the master, and whatever they have also belongs to the master. Yeah. يرون المال مال الله. They see that money is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is more than normal mu'mineen, muttaqeen, pious mu'mineen. They try not to do haram, they try to pay khums, zakat. Yeah? But someone who has reached the level of ubudiyah is more than taqwa. He doesn't see anything belongs to him. يَضَعُونَهُ حَيْثُ أَمَرَهُمُ اللَّهُ بِهِ. They put their money where Allah has asked them to put. So they try to find what's the best way to please Allah with everything. Because it's His money, so I should do it in the way that He is happy with. Like for example, if we have Sahm Imam, why we give to Maraja? Because we want to make sure that it's spent in the way that Imam Mahdi is happy with, because it belongs to Imam Mahdi. And Maraja are those who tell us what Imam Mahdi would be accepting as a good cause or expenditure. So now if you think all your money is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you try to put it in the places that Allah is happy with. So this is the first thing. But it's not just a matter of money. Money is only a small part of it. Yeah, of course, for many people it's a big part of it. But in reality, money is a small part of it. What about your self? What about your plans, your desires, your activities, your life, your time, your relations? So the second thing is لا يدبر العبد لنفسه تدبيرا. He doesn't make any plan for himself or herself independently. Yeah? Suppose you have employed someone. Does your employee plan for himself, or you plan what he should do? You should plan. Now if someone is abd in all his time, not only 8 hours a day, because abd is 24 hours, 7 days a week, yeah? Abd is all the time for master. So he would not plan for himself. For example, I want to live in this city. I want to do this job. No. You have to see what can you do better for Mawla. What's the best way and the most efficient way to help the cause of Mawla? Even if you look after your self, your health, no problem, because Mawla is happy that you are healthy. Mawla wants you to have, for example, holidays. Mawla wants you to be joyful, no problem. But everything for finally being able to serve Mawla more. So, لا يدبر العبد لنفسه تدبيرا وجملة اشتغاله فيما أمره تعالى به ونهاه عنه. All his concern is what Allah has asked me to do or asked me not to do. This is the concern. Of course, we know that in the end of the day, if you work for this Mawla, you are helping yourself and benefiting yourself more than people who work for themselves. Yeah? Because your Mawla is the one that he has no selfish gain. He wants best for you and best for other people. So you would be doing much better. I don't know if you have looked at people, if you really work for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and people who work for themselves, you see those who have worked for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have not lost. It's not that you are losing, you are giving away, you are not taking. Those who work for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they have better things in dunya and akhirah. Akhirah is clear, but even in dunya, they have much more enjoyable life. They have much more enjoyable relations. Normally they have better family, better children, better respect when you work for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And people also love people who work for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because they trust them. These people are not going to cheat or, take advantage. So we know that in the end of the day, even for our gain, it's better to work for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Imam said, فَإِذَا لَمْ يَرَ الْعَبْدُ لِنَفْسِهِ فِي مَا خَوَّلَهُ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى مِلْكًا هَانَ عَلَيْهِ الْإِنفَاقِ فِي مَا أَمَرَهُ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى أَنْ يُنْفِقَ فِيهِ. Now he explains the result of each of these three. If you don't see that this money belongs to you, and you look at it as money which belongs to Allah, infaq becomes easy for you. So if infaq is not easy for us, we can make this conclusion that we are not abd. Yeah? Because in logic we say this is aks naqiz. If P, then Q. So if not Q, then not P. Yeah? So if you are abd, you see money for God. If you don't see money for God, you are not abd. And if you see money for God, infaq will be easy. If you don't see infaq easy, so you don't believe money is for Allah. So for mu'min, infaq should be very easy. Second thing, if you see that Allah is mudabbir and you leave the planning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it doesn't mean that you don't plan. Maybe I ask this question from you. What should we do? We should plan or not plan? Yes.
So like tie your camel and then take Allah. You don't just leave your camel to wander, like with the hadith.
So, but if we leave to Allah tadbir, so what should we do?
No, I think she means the hadith that they after mutawakkil.
Yeah.
Do your job.
Yeah. Yeah, that's related to this also.
You plan in a way that the plans are for God, and whatever happens.
This is a very important issue. Sometimes people think mu'min should not plan. Actually, this is one of the problems with most of mu'mineen, that we don't plan. Yeah? We don't have, far-sightedness, see things for future and plan for future. Some years ago, one of the brothers in one place said, I have become in charge of planning because in Iran, in many institutions, we have someone who is responsible for planning. So I then made a joke with him. Pardon? No. I said now we would understand what plans were implemented. We don't expect you to say what plans you have for future. It was just a joke. Because many times we are not really planning for future. Yeah? We wait for things happen, then in the end of the year we say, no, this is what we planned. Like a person that was first shooting arrow and then putting circles and always his arrow was in the middle. So you do something, then you fix your targets. And we are always 10% successful. So we have to plan. But at the same time, we say we have to live to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because we are servants. So is there any contradiction here? I think no. Our planning is based on the best understanding of what we can understand from His plan. So you try to discover the plan of God, not to invent the plan. You understand? So we should understand the plan of Master, the plan of Mawla. So for example, now let's come down from Allah to the Imam. How we should plan for ourselves and our community? Once is that we say we are the planners, we make the plan. Once we say no, let's try hard to see what would be the plan of Imam Mahdi for us. You know, you may say what difference it makes. It makes big difference. If you think that what would be the plan of Imam Mahdi for the community, for example, in our town. Many things then we would even feel embarrassed to say that this is what Imam Mahdi's plan, could be. Because for him, the general cause is very important. When you think about plan of God or plan of Imam, you come from the top to the bottom. But when we plan, we start from the bottom and we never reach the top. We start from myself and my community, my ethnicity. Even we don't reach the whole Shia, let alone the whole humanity. Yeah? So, if you want to plan, you want to understand what are the plans of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is why we need people who have deep knowledge of Islam to be involved. Not just people who have good management skills. Yeah, because how we can understand the plan of God? At least part of it is to know Islam, part of it is to know what Allah's will is. So, إذا فوض العبد تدبير نفسه على مدبره. If the servant submits the planning of his affairs to his planner, his mudabbir, هان عليهم مصائب الدنيا. Then the tragedies of dunya, calamities of dunya become easy. You are not then worried. You know that someone has planned, and his plan, he is taking into consideration all these problems. Yeah? For example, if I, for example, take you to a place in winter and there is a snow, whatever. As soon as you come out and you see the snow and cold, you say, we should go back home. But if you trust the planner, you know that he has taken all this into consideration and he will take you through this into a warm place. He's not going to leave you on the street. But you have to pass through the street. Yeah? So calamities come, but he has a plan for you. Or like a captain that take you to the ocean, but he can then take you to the coast. It doesn't leave you inside the ocean, wondering where should you go. So calamities can come on your way, but don't think it's end of the story. He will take you out of these calamities. Okay? So, if the servant submits his affairs and delegates his planning to Allah, هان عليهم مصائب الدنيا. So the first thing made infaq easy. This makes masa'ib easy. هان عليه الانفاق هان عليه مصائب الدنيا. The third thing was جملة اشتغاله فيما أمره الله تعالى به ونهى عنه. So إذا اشتغل العبد بما أمره الله تعالى ونهى, if he is concerned with Allah's commands and prohibitions, then لا يتفرغ منهما إلى المراء والمباهات مع الناس. If you are concerned with what Mawla has asked you to do and not to do, then you would not spend your time for mira. Mira means just debating and arguing for the sake of arguing, which is very much disliked in our hadith. Even hadith says, Rahimallahu ra'an taraka al-mira' walau kana muhiqqan. Even if you are right, when the discussion is becoming repetitive, leave it. Yeah, I many times say, if two friends, two colleagues, husband, wife, if you have disagreement, you express yourself, the other party expresses, and then you express, and the other party. After 2-3 times, if you don't come to agreement, leave it. Because then after that becomes more difficult, everyone tries to prove himself or herself. It's like the example that sometimes I use is like when there is a snow and you are driving, or there is, mud, and one tire is stuck in the snow or mud. The more you accelerate, it goes deeper and deeper. It's better not to, accelerate. Just leave it. Maybe a little push can come out. But if you accelerate, it becomes worse and worse. So, mira is very destructive. It just causes, tension and fraction and problem. So if we are concerned with Allah's commands and prohibitions, we should not do mira' or mubahat ma'an nas. I am better than you. I have more achievement than you. We are servants. Servants should not, get into these things. فَإِذَا أكرم الله العبد بهذه الثلاثة. If Allah honors the servant with these 3 things, because to become a good servant is an honor. كفى بي عزا أن أكون لك عبدا وكفى بي فخرا أن تكون لي ربا. So if Allah honors us with 3 things, not to see money, our money, not to plan for ourselves independent from Allah, and to put our focus on His commands and prohibition. Okay? If Allah honors you with these 3 things, هَانَ عَلَيْهِ الدُّنْيَا وَإِبْلِيسِ وَالْخَلْقِ, then dunya would not be a big obstacle. Shaitan would not be a strong enemy. And people would not be causing you distraction and disturbance. If you are a good servant. وَلَا يَطْلُبُ الدُّنْيَا تَكَاثُرًا وَتَفَاخُرًا. He would not go after dunya because of takathur, asking for more, or tafakhur, to say I'm better or higher. وَلَا يَطْلُبُ مَا عِنْدَ النَّاسِ عِزًّا وَعُلُوًّا. He would not seek what people have because he wants, honor in the society, or he wants, for example, uluv, highness in the eyes of people. وَلَا يَدَعُ أَيَّامَهُ بَاطِلًا. He would not waste his time. The only time that we have really saved for ourselves is the time that we have given to Allah. Yeah. Because whatever you give to Allah remains. Anything else is finished. فَهَذَا أَوَّلُ دَرَجَةِ التُّقَى. This is the first level of taqwa.
There's more.
This is to begin with. Because this just puts you in the right position to start the journey. You leave the planning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you don't waste your time, you don't waste your energy with arguing with people. Now, if with this attitude you move forward, what happens? قال الله تبارك وتعالى تلك الدار الآخرة نجعلها للذين لا يريدون علوا في الأرض ولا فسادا والعاقبة للمتقين. Allah refers to the akhirah, to the heaven, and says that's for the people that they don't even intend arrogance. Not they don't become arrogant, even they don't لا يريدون علوا. And also mischief. They don't have intention of mischief. And the good end is for muttaqeen. Okay, then he says to Imam, please give me some wasiyah, some practical tips. And Imam gives him 3 in 3, 9 pieces of advice. I think I stop here, and inshallah we can continue another time. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.